Lunchtime.
Lunchtime.
Whoa.
Hey, everybody.
Huge.
Well, what's happening?
What's happening? Today is the 209th lunch we've ever done. You guys have ever done?
It's almost as many movies as we've done.
And
Is that
it's
true?
Yeah, we did 238th last night with Toy Story 4.
Dang, that's commissions too, right? Like every movie.
It's everything in the movies feed, yeah.
How do you know that number?
You just go to the
'Cause
feed and count.
Yeah.
Or it'll tell you.
Is it keeping an accurate count? Okay.
Well, it doesn't count, but all of every episode has a number. So
Nice.
last night was 238.
It's a lot of movies.
It's a lot.
A lot of
Yeah.
a lot of movie podcasts.
A lot of downloads and podcasts.
You guys want to talk about anything? Because I got some stuff I want to talk about.
Go for it.
Where I just like
Well, wait. First, I want to do our intro that we're
Okay.
going to practice doing better.
Okay.
If this is your...
Yes.
If you're a club member, then you already know how to find this if you're watching it live. If you're listening later, you can participate live by going to baldmove.com and seeing the lunch post at 1 o'clock on every Friday, almost every Friday.
Eastern Standard Time.
If you want to have your feedback considered, go to forums.baldmove.com. Usually someone with the burning most-ish question will start the thread first sometime during the week. Or you can go to twitter.com #baldlunch to get a question considered.
Yeah, and if you go there and there's no thread for this Friday, start one. Like there's not it's not a gate kept process. Anyone can start the thread. If you do the title wrong, I don't know how bad you could fuck up a title for a date, but if you do it wrong, the mods can always clean it up. Just start it off, kick it off.
Yeah. It's also the first day of summer.
Is this? Oh yes, it is official.
Official first
The
day of
summer-
summer.
Doesn't feel like it.
Solstice, right? Summer solstice.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The
I
21st?
got my goat ready for
Yep.
sacrifice.
Midsummer.
Yeah.
It's another horror movie coming out.
It's wild that like it's been a very mild and very wet summer so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got down to the 40s a few times last week.
For the 13 hours that it's been summer.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like I don't look.
Like summer started in April last year. I feel like.
This is okay. I'll have this fight because I think it's the height of pedantics in this to say that winter doesn't begin till December 21st. That's technically the depth of winter. That's when the days are shortest, right? Like, so I feel like
I don't know.
we fuck up our seasons. Like, if we want to say the official start of summer is like this, astronomical point in time, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like the map to my human experience. I feel like summer starts in like May, June, July. Or I guess in August. I don't know.
Get ready for an endless summer.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you judge
fair?
it by the heat, we should probably plan on endless summers.
Oh, yeah, eventually, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Europe, that like just place like Poland is like 105 degrees, and it's supposed to be there for like eight days, which might not seem like if you're like in Texas or even, we've gotten up to the hundreds in Indiana. If you're from those areas, like it's nothing big. What? Imagine if you're in a country where the climate doesn't get there very regularly, you don't have central air conditioning, and you don't have. The
Imagine
facilities.
if you were in a place that was 32 degrees.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Or
just
here's
the
where you go,
opposite
Texas.
of that.
Imagine you had 2 feet of snow right now.
Uh-huh.
You would be fucked. You'd be fucked for a long time because you don't even have snowplows. We probably have to ship them in some kind of fucking convoy from the north to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that's the dumb. Every single time I see a thread on Reddit where people are like, Jesus fucking Christ, it's hot. People are dying. It's like, wait till you get out to Santa Fe and it's 119.
Yeah.
It's like, just stop, man. They don't have the clothes for it. They don't have the facilities for it. Anyway. Yeah,
They don't have the
summers.
Grombus either.
Huh?
They don't have the Grombus either.
Don't have the Grombus. No Grombus.
The other thing I wanted to address
Yeah.
up first. Are we doing lunch next Friday?
Yeah, we were supposed to talk about this, and
Doesn't seem like that's possible.
well, no, we're
do it
definitely going to
live.
do lunch. We're not going to do lunch on Friday. There's a possibility we do it like on Wednesday, like Wednesday nooner,
A nooner?
a nooner, afternoon delight on Wednesday,
Maybe.
or like Tuesday. But yeah, Cecily and I are leaving Wednesday late afternoon to go to Colorado Springs, Colorado. Which is where you stayed like 2 years ago. We're just going to do like 2 years from now. We're going to go to Italy. We're just going to
Follow me around the world.
we're going to be the laziest stalkers in the world.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Laziest,
we're the It
slowest-
Follows monster. We finally we walked at a steady pace. We finally got there.
We're gonna show up at Jim's funeral and be like, "Ha, we got you finally."
Right.
Guess where we're going next week, you fuck.
Humans were persistence hunters, right? That's how we stalked our prey. We just walked them until they died of exhaustion.
Most
so.
dangerous game.
Just don't shoot me with any arrows or hit me with spears or anything.
Nah,
No
it's all
promises.
exhaustion.
Okay.
When you die, it'll be too exhausted to move. And
I'm
then we'll
okay
eat you
with that.
alive. That's because that's the way you do it.
It's better than taking up, I don't know, fucking 12 square feet of ground.
12 square feet. Oh
Yeah,
no,
6
no.
by 2. You could probably fit me in a 6 by 2
Nah,
box.
I'd rather have you take up 12 square feet in my belly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good for the environment, honestly.
The best way to
Eat
eat
the
a gym
dead.
is just one bite at a time.
So for the first time in my life, I'm going to a Pride parade and festival this weekend, which seems odd, and was odd to me. And that's one of the reasons I decided to do it. Like, it's 50th anniversary Stonewall. I've been to all kinds of street festivals and cool stuff in Cincinnati, but I've never been to a Pride Fest. What the fuck? So I'm gonna head down there, see what it's all about.
Tomorrow,
Eat some gay food, drink some gay beverages,
And have a gay old time.
Gata?
see a gay parade.
Gay?
and
Are they going to
bisexual
have
and trans-
Gata there?
Huh?
Gata?
Are they going to have Gata?
Gata? What's
Yeah.
Gata?
Gay
It's
Gata.
Geta.
Oh.
It's Geta.
Yes, I'm gonna have some gay Gata.
Geta
Geta?
with a side of Gatorade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I'm gonna march so much, I'm gonna soar. I'm gonna use some bin. This is. I see. What the
Ooh,
fuck? I
ooh.
apologize.
You took it too
I
far.
apologize.
Sorry, the gay puns are just, yeah.
The old white guy showed up and he ruined it. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm excited. Me, Cecily, and Jack are going down there. The parade starts at 11, and I guess it winds and kind of the parade ends at the festival and like officially opens it when it gets there at noon. I read some articles to see kind of like a parking stitch, but I really don't. I saw some of the events are scheduled, but I'm pretty excited. And then we're gonna probably leave from there, shouldn't we? Get packed up and because we're going to my sister's house Saturday. We're gonna spend a night Saturday and then hang out to do
We're
a
gonna have
virtual Father's Day.
Father's Day observed.
Yes, observes Father's Day. As my dad's coming down from Russiaville, not Russiaville, but Russiaville, and we're gonna have a good old time. What else do we?
Wizards Unite came out today.
What?
Yesterday. So Pokemon, the makers of
right.
Pokemon Go, if you guys didn't watch last week, we talked about how we just got back into Pokemon Go. Yesterday, they released a game, Niantic did, called Wizards Unite. It's a Harry Potter based game that is very similar to Pokemon Go's real world mechanics.
Yeah, as the VR augmented stuff.
Yeah, but it's got a lot more like complicated missions and characters and things like that. I downloaded it yesterday. I was playing it a little bit yesterday and today. I think I'm going to play it for maybe a month or so and then just let someone else figure out all the problems for me.
That's what I was thinking.
And then come back a few years later and reap the rewards of having gotten in early.
Yeah, kind of what we did in Pokemon. Right?
Exactly what we did with Pokemon Go.
I had the exact same thought, even though we hadn't discussed this. It's like, I'm going to play it, but if there's any bullshit at all, I'm going to drop it like a hot potato, go back to Pokemon, and then in a year later, check it out to see if they fixed all the bugs. Because it does seem like, Pokemon was built on Ingress, which was right? Is that what it's called? It's the virtual kind of techno spy game,
Yes,
and uses
that's
all
the
the
right
same
one.
infrastructure, and they just reskinned it. But they added stuff. They added like direct mechanics and eventually trading mechanisms and stuff. And now Harry Potter, it feels like I read an article on it yesterday. It feels like it's building on the things they learned from Pokemon, and it seems like it's a better game out of the box. But I haven't played it yet. I just installed it this morning while I was waiting for Hulu to load so I could watch the second episode of U-Boat.
I don't agree at the moment.
Okay.
It's set in it's set at the end of the last Harry Potter movie.
Oh, really? So Voldemort's just been, spoilers, Voldemort's just been destroyed.
Right. So,
Damn it, I was
Hermione.
planning on watching that this weekend.
Oh, shit. We
Well,
ruined
just
it.
tune on ABC Family. There'll be a marathon. Or I'm sorry, it's not ABC Family. It's what is it now? Hallmark.
Freeform.
Freeform, right?
Maybe. But yeah, it's set in that post universe where like Harry Potter is working for the Ministry of Magic and Hermione's doing her own thing and who knows what. But I don't know. It seems like it's got some some things to be worked out, some kinks to be worked out. It's a lot. It is a lot. Because as soon as I started the game, it's got tons of options, which is cool. You can personalize like your picture and your character and like their
You can choose what house
and,
you were going to be.
you can choose
which house did you choose?
Ravenclaw.
Of course. I was going to say because like I thought you would, and that's definitely what I'm going to choose. But
the weird thing, they forgot the wands.
Huh?
They forgot the wands.
No, they're right
Just
here.
No
They're
wands.
squared, they're about 6
You
inches
can customize
long,
your wand.
half inch thick, 3 inches wide.
To subvert that joke, you can customize your wand, which I was super excited about.
Yeah, that's
because
cool.
I made my wand 9 inches and 3/4. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought this was like some kind of obscure
No.
dick length joke, but
No.
yes, it's platform 9 3/4, of course.
I don't know. I'm having fun with it, but I never intended to be a mobile gamer. And now I'm playing Pokemon Go. I've been playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp since it came out in November of 2017, I think.
A while ago.
Yeah, every day, all day, every day. And then now I'm playing Lwj&A, and
You're gonna have to let one of them go. Probably Harry Potter. It sounds like.
yeah, probably Harry Potter.
Yeah, we took over every gym in Marymount and most of Madisonville like 3 nights ago, and like chest bumped and high fived and like, what are we? They kind of had that like wave of shame and like, what are we? No, there's no shame in the game.
There's no shame.
It's more like we bragged to Jack. Like, guess who? Look at this. Guess who just took over the hometown for Blue Gym? What is that? Team Mystic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mystic.
The thing I worried about, just reading the coverage, is like, so it seems like the house is whatever, but then there's like 3 careers you can choose, and that seemed like the team that you're joining.
Maybe once you reach level 6, you can choose a profession.
Right.
So
very similar to Pokemon. That's when you choose your team to be on Pokemon.
Well, you choose that as soon as you start the game, right?
Nope, because I just
So
watched
it's the
Jack
same.
go through it. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of like running into Pokemon in the wild, there will be animals or people you encounter that are actively having some sort of magical effect, like a charm's being cast on them or some sort of creature is being attacked, and you have to do. And this is really similar to this is deep cut. The Chamber of Secrets PC game, the second
Oh shit! I had
the
never
second
played a Harry
movie
Potter
PC game, where basically you just have like a quick time event where you have to trace a spell on screen, and just the quickness and accuracy that you can do that sort of motion
Increases
is
the
what
power.
yeah
That's kind of cool.
yeah
Get some muscle
like an
memory.
comic
You're
kind of thing.
rewarded for
Yeah.
building on muscle memory. It feels like it translates really well to the feel of the game.
yeah play around with it some more, especially since we're traveling and going on vacation. It's the best time to test these things out
Yeah.
and their functionality other places.
That's actually what we were doing in Colorado Springs when we went there. We were playing Pokemon Go, walking
Well-
down the strip there, collecting all
Nice.
the Pokemons.
Well, now you got trading. You get a bonus for like if I get a Pokemon in Colorado and I trade with Cecily a Pokemon in Cincinnati, you get an insane distance bonus, like bonus candy when you trade. So like we're going to be like, hell yeah, we're going to go to Colorado with empty bags and stuff all those high distance Plus you get badges for like
Stocking up on balls.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we already exploited the shit out of this because we had played in 2016. We had a ton of Pokemon we caught like in Beaver Island, so we were like racking up 1,000 kilometer, 1,000 kilometer, 1,000 kilometer. Like yeah.
that's not the actual distance between Michigan and
I'm pretty
Ohio,
sure
but
it
that's
is.
fine.
That it's more than 1,000 kilometers actually, because a kilometer is shorter than a mile, right?
Yeah. No.
Really?
Yes. I think a kilometer is
thought a kilometer is like-
2.2 miles. Is that right? Am I insane?
No, that's a pound. That's a kilo's the pound.
Okay.
But
That's the
I thought
same
it's
conversion.
It's 1.6 kilometers per
no, you
mile.
guys
is
are
what
just
I
thinking about
thought.
the drugs you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Wha-
translate
wha-
the same in
Yeah.
distance.
I'm only familiar
What's
with weights.
what's a dime to an ounce?
What's a dime bag of Pokemon Go?
What's a king to a god? So
There's
All
no
fair
Pokemon Go
questions.
in the wild.
yeah, that'll be fun. We're gonna try to catch them all in Colorado. Oh, also the other thing I'm excited. I just found out our buddy Levi has been like he took a brief hiatus when the bullshit was at all time height towards the end of 2016, but then came back like a year later, and he's like almost level 38, which is a max level 40, and he's like trying to fill out his Pokédex, and we friended each other, and we've been trading like gifts and stuff every day. But I can't wait till BiPAX this year, because I'm going to do some hardcore Seattle bonus distance trading and try to fill out each other's Pokedexes. So did you hear that, Levi? We actually,
you out.
Levi, you and I get together and see, like, because this used to be a thing in Pokemon. I'm not sure if it still is, that like Pokemon's rareness is based on like what region you live in, and I wonder if like there's like common Seattle Pokemon that are rare out here and vice versa, and we need to find it out, stock up, and then be prepared to trade. So
Hand off all your Pidgeys.
yeah,
I don't know if they're still doing that, but
Pidgeys are not
were
as.
like,
What's the new Pidgey?
Still
Would you
bullshit.
say?
Rattata, maybe.
Okay.
Even
There's
Rattata's
still
not
Pidgeys
the-
and Rattatas, but
Yeah, I feel like those.
but those are good to collect if you just want to like evolve bullshit
Yeah.
Pokemon you don't want
yeah, just for evolution
levels.
credits.
you can
Yeah.
scrap them.
Gulpins. I think Gulpins are the new Pidgeys.
Yeah, that's the other
Weedles.
thing is I've been desperately trying to catch a Ditto. Are you familiar with the Ditto Pokemon? He's just a purple. He's in
That's the one
Detective
in the
Pikachu.
movie, yeah.
He just can turn into any Pokemon that he sees.
With terrible eyes.
Yeah, with just beady little eyes. So they're all the basic, like 15 basic Pokemon you can catch that you see all the time could be a Ditto. So I'm catching all of these stupid Pokemon, trying to
Right.
desperately
Just
catch this
feeding them
Ditto.
into the- Yeah, you if a Pokemon you don't want, you transfer to the professor, but we call it the wood chipper. So it's like you just instant.
Oh, thanks for the shade.
Yeah, 'cause, you transfer to the professor, but guess what
God,
the professor's
help me.
doing?
Yeah.
He's just loading them into a chamber, pumping out all the air, and then recycling those Pokemons.
And then snorting Poke Powder.
Poke Powder.
That he desiccates their
What's it
bodies
called?
into.
Stardust. Yeah, where do you think
Yeah.
Stardust comes from, kids? The
Desiccated
bones,
Pokemon bodies.
the
That's
bones of unloved Pokemon, of low CP Pokemon. All right, we've talked enough about Pokemon, right? Is there anything else we want to?
I could go on for days.
The Q's and the A's.
No, that's it. Did you guys see that Philadelphia is literally on fire right now?
No.
There's
no.
a oil refinery that exploded, and Philadelphia is on fire.
What are the cost of lies?
What is the
No,
cost?
it doesn't explode a solar panel.
So this is like actively developing, like within the last 6 hours this has happened. So, and there have been a lot of people who have been like tagging us and mentioning us because there are a lot of similarities with Chernobyl here.
My old Destiny buddy Tony is from around, like in the suburbs. Mm-hmm. So I ought to check in. Is it like a big? Is it like something dangerous other than to the environment, or?
I mean, just an oil refinery exploded, and it's just this giant mushroom cloud of fire that's
Jesus
just
Christ! Wow.
emanating out. Yeah.
There goes another billion tons of ice.
But onto the positive stuff. Danielle says, "My husband and I are planning to go on our honeymoon in a few weeks to dun 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 the Dominican Republic. With all the craziness of reports of people dying, getting beaten, car accidents, salmonella, poisoned by minibar, what? We are starting to feel a little anxious about potential danger. So do we cancel? We're staying in an all-inclusive that is not affiliated with any of the events so far. I'm not a nervous person when it comes to traveling, but it doesn't help when different family members are sending us articles every other day about the latest incident.
Well, there's
P.S.
part
We're
of
the
the
couple
problem. that
played Reigns of Castamere at our wedding. It was a hit. So it sounds
You
like
did go through that? Awesome.
nice.
sounds like you beat the odds so far.
That's true. Have
Yeah.
you been reading about this at all? Either
Yeah,
of
yeah.
you?
No, I was passingly familiar with
It's like
it. Yeah.
9 American tourists have been killed, murdered
Oh, was
in the
it-
Dominican Republic.
I thought
mean,
that was like the total, like from all the things that have befallen tourists there. But so
Is
you're talking
any-
about 9 people were murdered.
I think
actual
9
murdered?
people have been murdered. I could be wrong. Maybe some of them fell off cliffs or something while hiking. But
I thought that there was like some like a illness or maybe food poisoning type of thing as well.
could be.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
Wow. I
what-
just Googled it, and 3 hours ago, New York Post posted 2 more Americans reported dead. Seems like an issue. What do you know about this?
How
Is it
how
like
recent are they saying that? Because I
3
saw that
hours?
article like 3 days ago too.
Oh.
So if it happened again this morning, I'm like, oh boy. I would here's the thing. I would look up the number of tourists who visit the Dominican Republic this year, let's say, and then do the math and go, what are the odds?
And also realize that like when this becomes a thing, like everyone starts paying attention to it. Like
Yeah.
also like how many American tourists getting killed in the average year. I mean, I bet the number's not 0. So like 9 sounds a lot, but if like 3 were murdered last year, I mean that I don't know, because like how big of an asshole you feel if you go there and one of you dies. But on the other hand, is this a real concern? Is this
Right.
like, I mean, are Americans getting? It's like if Americans are getting rounded up, but like, I don't know. I don't know how to advise you. I guess what I would do is just what Jim did: try to get perspective, try to get on some forums that are like, try to find out like more local sources and get with people that have been to these particular resorts to see if it's a problem there. But like the Dominican Republic is the one that shares half the island with Haiti.
I think so. Yeah.
That's just a really, really. I know Haiti is. I don't know anything about the Dominican Republic, but Haiti is just like a really desperately poor country. And anytime, that's one of the risks when you're doing tourism in a place that is has that kind of desperate poverty is people do desperate, crazy things. So, yeah, I don't know. You gotta. I can't tell you it's going to be okay. This is what it sounds like.
But it's probably going to be okay. Most likely,
Yeah.
going to be okay. Like, that's the thing. It's the numbers are in your favor here.
Right, and that's
Like, I would tell you not to play the lottery
Yeah.
because the numbers are very much not in your favor, and I would tell
Yeah.
you don't worry about the Dominican Republic stuff because numbers are very much in your favor.
It's a damn shame because like if this does cast a pall on tourism, I gotta believe that that's a huge part of their
Yeah, any tropical island in Central America
their
is
gross
probably-
domestic product or whatever, their economy. So it really sucks because if people stop, it's one of those things where it's like, I know any place that has a lot of tourism, it's a double-edged sword. Like you fucking hate the tourists, but they're also paying the bills, right? And things can get really fucked up if like that cycle starts disrupting, and then you can get like kind of like bitterness and distrust on both sides. It can, I don't know. Yeah, good luck. Whatever you decide to do.
Congratulations on the wedding, by the way.
Yes.
Wish you many years of happiness.
Yes.
In
Congratulations
life.
on the zero.
Surviving
it.
Congratulations on the dull Dothraki wedding.
Glad to see that no one stabbed you at your own wedding.
Exactly.
NCAT says, I've been taking my health more seriously since I turned 30 in February, and I am down 40 pounds.
I'm 7 years.
Congratulations.
I'm 7 years too late.
Any pro health tips or advice on keeping the workouts and diet going? I feel I have truly made them habits at this point, but would appreciate any advice.
I think you got it. You're down 40 pounds. That's awesome.
Yeah, I tend to gain weight when I'm content and happy because like I'm having a lot of fun and I'm not worrying about money and I'm eating out more and I'm eating more delicious things and I'm drinking more. Like it's like I'm kind of partying up and so I tend to gain weight when I'm happy and I lose weight when I'm kind of like going through a bad period because that's when I kind of personally try to abstain from all that kind of stuff. And like I'm miserable, so I better start working out and doing all this other because it's like a way to turn things around. This is the first time I guess like I started losing weight in a period of relative happiness and content. And I don't know, man. I just I just got a new perspective, I guess, on food. We'll see if it sticks. It's been pretty good for almost a year, but like just the whole, I don't have to eat. I feel the 3 meals a day is kind of a cult thing in America, and probably around the world. But like you need the calories per day to sustain your body, and that can be whatever frequency, that can be in whatever dose, that can be in almost any form. But you eat less calories than you burn, you lose weight. You eat more calories than you burn, you gain weight. And what I've found for me is that breakfast is the goddamn devil, because I can easily go without eating, without feeling very hungry till 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, and then I can pig out for dinner and I'm still eating less calories than I kind of need. And I feel like that just feels right to me. And if you want to go like talk paleo shit, I guarantee that our ancestors 10,000 years ago didn't eat 3 meals a day. They probably ate like maybe a meal a day when times were good, but then like they pigged out when they'd catch a mammoth every couple of days. And I just feel like that I don't know, this constantly keeping your body full of sugars and carbohydrates and fats and never have any giving your insulin response a time to readjust itself is probably bad. And I don't have any research to back it up. I just started reading some things about intermittent fasting and it worked for me. So we'll see. Check back with me in 5 years. If I'm still like at 255 or below, then it's worked.
Then we'll know you're extremely depressed.
Huh? Yeah.
If you're in tip-top shape, we'll know you're about to kill yourself.
Yeah. Have you tried losing your job? Have you tried going through a breakup or divorce? Have you
tried leaving a cult lately?
I've tried leaving a cult. Have you tried the death of a family member? That can help one lose weight.
Bad advice. What do you got? Got any P90X tips?
So I've never subscribed to breakfast either. I don't eat breakfast, period.
The breakfast boxes, you just you tried them and you're like, nah.
Breakfast what?
I was just making a joke about subscribe to breakfast, like it's a breakfast box.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't hear the box part. Yeah, so I eat typically a burrito and then pretty healthy dinner usually. Couple times a week maybe I'll have something gross like Lee's chicken or just some kind of order in bullshit, big nasty pulled pork sandwich or something. Delicious, but not good for you. Mm-hmm. But I don't really know how to instill habits, because you're right, that's super important. Like just getting into the habit of eating healthy is the most important thing you can do for losing and keeping off weight. I don't know how. Most of my habits come from convenience, and that is definitely not a good way to stay healthy. So
not especially when fast food is so convenient.
Although less frequent,
right,
larger meals does seem more convenient to me.
It is, yeah. It takes less time out of your day for sure. But I don't know. I would say look at the choices you're making on a daily basis and see how you can just tweak those a little bit to get better health and nutrition out of them. Mm-hmm. Because you're already in those habits. So maybe just kind of, latch on to those habits in healthier ways. And it sounds like if you've lost 40 pounds already, those things, I've heard habits become habits after 10 days or something. Mm-hmm. It's a very quick process. So you probably have some healthy habits you've developed.
Right.
Just try and examine those, see what they are, and then figure out how they can fit in your life long term.
Yeah, and I'd also like to build into the habit also to realize that find something you can do the rest of your life, because the times where I've really spectacularly failed at a diet, it's when it's I'm white knuckling oh god, I'm only going to eat 1,600 calories, and which there's probably a lot of women I wish I had, but I'm 6'2" and I weigh 255 pounds right now, so I get to eat a lot more than that just to maintain my goddamn bulk, but. When I was and I felt like I was hungry all the time, and I'm okay, and I would lose 20, 30, 40 pounds, but then as soon as I'm done, I'm I hit my goal weight, and it just came right back. So it's you can't. It's got to be sustainable. It's got to be something you can do the rest of your life that fits in, that doesn't feel like a sacrifice. And I guess that's the one thing is with this intermittent fasting, where I essentially pick a 4 to 8 hour period of the day, and that's all I can eat. And once it's out of that period, then you're done. Which I found helpful at nighttime is after dinner, brush your teeth. Because once you brush your teeth,
you don't even want to eat.
Yeah, you don't. It's you got the mouth.
And only stock orange juice in your fridge.
Yeah.
You'll lose weight in no time.
but I found that yes, sometimes I'm hungry in the morning, but it's not if you wait 30 minutes, it passes. Just getting used to the idea that being hungry is a sensation being kind of hot or cold, and it sucks, but it's not something that needs to be addressed right now.
Right.
In reality, it doesn't need to be addressed for 3 fucking weeks. That's the actual reality of your situation, that if you're feeling hungry, you are not in mortal danger until that period of time stretches for 3 weeks. So
yeah, I mean, I if I can put my own opinion in here,
please.
It's and I'm just speaking from my own recent experience, because I think I've ballooned a lot in my life, just from happiness to sadness, like you said. I lost 60 pounds in the last year and a half through intermittent fasting. And I've also had some success with just not eating carbs and things like that. It just depends on your body. I think making habits is just as important as breaking habits. So if you're in the habit of drinking a soda every day, even if it's a Coke Zero, no sugar or calories or anything like that, the process of breaking that habit of drinking a soda every day is something that can jolt your body into a response. I think snacking throughout the entire day instead of having 3 square meals can change your metabolism. So you process more. But then after a few weeks, go back to 3 meals a day and you'll see a weight change there. It's just about figuring out what's the healthiest thing for you in your life. But exercise is important. At least 30 minutes a day, even if it's just 30 minutes of walking, taking the long way, parking way in the back and taking the long way to the front of the store. That can change things too. Benefits you and your children in the future. Okay. Christina on Twitter says, Aaron, feel free. I'm going to tell you in advance that you don't have to answer this.
All right.
But Christina says, Aaron, your JW background intrigues me. Colts, am I right? How does it work for Jack to have a dad outside the organization? How is it viewed for his parents to be divorced? How does his upbringing differ from yours with the JW org?
It goes poorly. It was hard for me growing up not being able to do the things I want when there was no perceived good reason for it. It's just like mom decided by fiat that this was no longer something I could do. And it didn't matter if other witness kids could do it. It didn't matter if this stuff was not anywhere near coming from the Bible. It didn't matter if it was like, this is more of like and the older I got, the more I could see is like some of this stuff is clearly generational problems. Like I know what music you listened to growing up, and this is just the version of this music, and you don't like it because you don't understand it, or you don't like the fact that your son is listening to like this angry music. There's nothing necessarily objectionable because like Metallica, my mom waged a one-woman war against Metallica throughout my entire teenage. I probably bought every Metallica album 4 or 5 times because she kept finding them and destroying them.
One Woman War is my favorite Metallica album.
WWW. I'm like, I would even say like, would you just listen to this music? Like, tell me where like you listen to this music and you think drugs are good, or like what's the objectionable content? It's not like it's not like they're worshiping, like Metallica doesn't worship Satan or anything like that. And she just refused to, or she'd get like 30 seconds in, it's like, no, this is just too angry. It's just this is unchristlike, blah. Which fair enough, probably. I can't imagine Jesus
rocking out to Metallica,
getting out to Fade to Black, or rocking out to Fade to Black. He'd probably just weep. But
Headbanging.
He loves Saint Anger though.
He had the hair to headbang. I'll tell you that.
He had
wasted opportunity, and he could do the perfect headbang.
Oh, that's why I was just thinking.
As the son of God, I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, by definition, be perfect, right?
Yeah.
So that was always frustrating, right? And I thought with Jack it might be better because it's like, okay, you spend half your time with your mom, spend half your time with your dad, so like, try to be respectful and learn about your mom's process, and like, then you can come to your dad's. But it seems like it almost makes it worse because he gets an acquired taste for a certain type of conversation or a certain type of content or a certain type of video game or a certain like amount of personal freedom, and then he goes back and like the clash is kind of violent. Not violent, I mean, it's just it's metaphorically violent. It's like a very different way of living life. So I guess the jury's still out because, theoretically I had the same thing. My dad was not a believer, but he was married to my mom, and in practice he just went along with whatever she said. Like I said, that was tough. It seems like the way Jack's growing up is tough too. It's just tough to have your, just having your parent in a cult. Like if Jack decides he wants to live with me full time, or he gets out of it or whatever, he's still gonna have to deal with the fact that his relationship with his mom is going to be probably strained no matter what he does. And I think he also, because he also knows that his grandma doesn't speak to his dad. Mm-hmm. And he knows why. I mean, he doesn't know exactly, but he knows like it's because the witnesses don't do that. And like, it's really easy to see him map his own future. It's like, I don't really want to be in this Jehovah's Witness stuff. It doesn't make sense. And if I keep going this way, my mom can say whatever she wants. I see what's happening with my dad and my grandma. So it's hard. It's hard.
Michelle says, between work and life, I've had one of the busiest weeks I've had in a long while. How do you find time for yourself in these kinds of moments? Aaron, I know you typically like to get outdoors, and Jim, I know you like to just unplug and unwind however you can, but what if you can't find any time to do those things? When you're in the middle of go, 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 how do you keep yourself centered?
When you're into shit.
Just go full Nick Nolte.
Embrace the suck. I don't know, Jim, what do you think?
I'm trying to figure out
Deep cut.
how I do that, or if I do that. I don't know. That's a tough question that I haven't thought about. I mostly take some encouragement from the fact that I know it won't last forever, and that I can just kind of grin and bear it for a while. And then, 4 weeks later, everything will be slower and I'll have more time for myself. But that's kind of a luxury of my schedule. I know a lot of people don't have that luxury.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, my work isn't seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's my only thing is like, know that it won't last forever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one of my deals where I had a couple of gigs where I was doing programming work, or especially it seems like contracting. When I was contracting, there's just an infinite amount of work. It never goes away, and you're always going to work. And it's like you get stuck in these long periods where it's like, well, I'm going to bust my ass, and then it's going to feel so good when Christmas break comes around and I can take like 5 days off, and then that period comes and it's not really a recharge because the whole time you're thinking about like all the stuff that you still have to do. And yeah, I agree with Jim. Like, a lot of ways I get through it is just telling myself, well, it's only going to be, Game of Thrones season's only going to last six weeks this year. It's going to be crazy, and then we'll have a chance to breathe afterwards. In a situation that you feel like it's an endless grind, and I really think it's probably you have to make a change, because I don't know, like if it's already causing you problems. Like, some people thrive in that. Or they say they do, but if you're not that type of person, because like I feel like most of those times looking back, it seemed like it was all poor management. If you're running full tilt crunch mode 100% of the time, like, it's fine 6 weeks before a project's done, yeah, work 70-75 hours, however much it takes. But if you're in that mode 3/4 of the year, then your management's done fucked up, or you're just way understaffed. So maybe even like this, because I got in a couple places where I don't think the business model worked. Like, you literally couldn't make enough money to make this model work, and they tried to make up by like starving things of resources, which led to a downward spiral. So I don't know, try to identify a situation like that and get out of it. But it's really tough because, like, I don't know what to tell you people. I honestly believe we're going into like a decade of really hard times where it's not going to be easy to. It's already not easy to just jump to jobs and stuff. Like, I think this is going to, like, this will happen until we decide as a society that we're had enough of it, and then there'll probably be a big change, and we'll have 20-30 years of relatively nice conditions, and unless the fucking global. There's no hope.
Nope. Okay, so I'm gonna take this over. I've got a more positive approach. As someone who is currently working 1.5 jobs and doing other things on the side, what I like to do is stop scheduling work lunches. I take my hour lunch, and I take it every single day, and I drive to a local park, and that's where I catch up on my mobile games or Reddit or text messages or emails or whatever it is that I want to do in that time. But it's kind of a form of meditation. But if you do have to ask yourself if you're spending all of this time burning yourself out on something you're passionate about. I didn't go without sleep for a couple of nights because I couldn't turn my brain off about things I was anxious about, which is semi-true, but it's mostly because I just have these ideas about things I'm passionate about that come forth, and I just want to keep grinding towards that. So it's a labor of love, but also I'm also going on vacation on Wednesday, so that's cool. You need those things too, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like torture. If it's not something you're passionate about, then it's 1 more minute and it's going to be over soon.
And I am passionate about torture.
Yeah.
Love it.
It would be, I don't know. I understand there's a lot of countries in Europe that have like mandatory 5 weeks of vacation. I think that would be a nice standard to shoot for in this country. And that would help out a lot of people. And it would also help out the employment because you'd have to hire, what is that? Like you're lucky if you get to, you'd have to hire the people to cover those gaps, right?
Yeah, 1/10 more people, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I think at times, like, look, if you're grinding on something for a real long time, like maybe you have, an extended project and you're working on multiple things at the same time and you got family stuff, I do think there's something to be said for just making time for yourself. Like, yes, I'm going to have to ignore something for a little while and it's not going to get done in the way that I wanted it to, or it's not going to get done at all, but how important is it versus just centering yourself again and getting yourself right? Because you're going to be far more effective. You might even find out that like once you get your head right, oh, actually I can get so much more done because now I feel better about everything I'm doing. I'm not sitting here, on the couch wasting an hour thinking, oh God, I got to do this thing. Oh God, I got to do this thing. I don't want to do this thing. Ugh. Instead, you're putting that hour to use and you're getting, a project done or something. And I find that like just saying, okay, I have so much to do. There's no way I can do it all. Just like figure out a way to make, even if it's like an hour, like you said, with lunches, just make time for yourself because it's going to pay off.
Periodically do an inventory of things you can stop doing too, because if you don't do that, you'll just have an ever increasing list of things and you'll never get
right.
So.
Sacrifice is not always a bad thing. Sacrifice can be a lot about prioritizing.
And in the case of goats, it can be about observing the start of summer officially.
In the case of goats?
Yeah. I was bringing it back to
my favorite Clooney movie.
Bringing it back to
that's
summer
what I thought he was
solstice.
referencing.
No, I was bringing it back to summer solstice.
Yeah, he's doing a callback. It was a
Alright,
good
alright.
one too.
Unappreciated in my
I
own
appreciate
lunch.
it.
No,
Thank you,
super
Jim.
appreciate
It was
it.
very good.
Double Aaron on Twitter says, hypothetical, Bald Move suddenly loses all followers, yet instead people would pay you for the following services.
No,
Rank
fuck.
them all from I'm in to no way in hell.
Yeah, well, how many sheiks are out there?
Number 1, Bald Move singing telegrams. Number 2, Bald Move children's parties. Number 3.
Wait. We should say a yay or nay on all these, okay?
Well, let me read them all first. I'll read them back to you.
Okay.
Bald Move 3, or sorry, number 3, Bald Move reality show. Number 4, Bald Move stand up. Number 5, Bald Move massages. Number
For
6,
Bald Move or from Bald Move?
Yeah.
Oh, they'd pay us for
People
services.
pay to
okay.
massage us, Jim.
Maybe.
from
You never
these
know.
are
Yeah,
the
we've lost our
services you need to
followers.
provide. And then the final one is Bald Move on Hollywood Squares.
I mean, that's number 1. I'd go on Hollywood Squares just because.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. If I could sit next to Bruce Valanche
And Whoopi,
for like
Whoopi
30
Goldberg?
minutes, hell yeah.
Would you so like when I watched Hollywood Squares as a kid, like it seems like there's a couple, you could be like the foil or like the clown, or you could be like the you could try to like do solid by the contestants. Like you're the troll, right?
Not troll. I think I would be like the person who gives you the jokey answer.
But then gives
But
you
then,
the,
But jokey
but
enough
then
that
once
you know
all the
it's
laughing
false
settles
or
down,
true.
yeah, then I go, actually, really, it's. I don't even remember how that game works. The answer is
It's bingo
fuck
with
stain.
celebrities, right?
Right, but it's also the mini
Sure.
game was like the celebrity says and you have to say whether you think it's true or false,
Right.
and then that's how it's
Whether you think they're bullshitting you, yeah.
So yeah, read those back to us.
Okay. So six things you could do if you had to make a living outside of Bald Move. Singing telegrams, children's
Whoa,
parties.
no, we got to do one at a time because I
Okay,
can't.
children's parties.
No, absolutely not.
No one would pay me for a singing telegram. Or one person would pay me, and then word would
Okay,
get
so
out.
are we saying what we're willing to do or what we think people would actually pay us to do?
A good
You're
question.
supposed to rank all 6 of these in the order of how willing you are to do them.
We're supposed to
Oh.
rank them?
Yes.
Oh.
That's why I wanted to read them all in order.
Now you want me to do math, double A run?
Okay.
Hollywood
So let me
Squares
read them
number
all
1.
to you guys again and tell me what you're most willing to do. How's
Hollywood Squares.
that? Okay. So singing telegrams, children's parties, reality show, stand up, massages, or Hollywood Squares?
I guess
this is a random batch of things.
Reality show.
More than Hollywood Squares? Are you like excited by the concept of a reality show? Like you might actually be into it?
Are we talking? What kind of reality show we're talking about? Because I would
Fair.
love to be
Any?
like washed up podcast survivor.
Okay.
Because I've got some skills, man, and I also
Yeah.
have.
does that have to be
Even with
washed
my
up?
reduced rate, I still got 30-40 pounds of like drought and famine resistance. So I'm like that chubby the chubby gay guy from the first season. Like, wasn't it
I
Richard?
never watched that show.
Because
Oh,
he's like,
yeah.
he came in like really pudgy and roly poly. And I swear to God, one of the reasons he outlasted everybody is he had the fucking reserves.
And he came
played
back
the
for
game
many
well.
reunion shows.
Yeah. But I'd like to do but Survivor's not really a Survivor show. Like a Naked and Afraid, only maybe, I don't fuck, I'll be naked and afraid.
You're pigeonholing yourself in the reality show program. It could be
Yeah.
like Housewives, where we just throw drinks at each other.
Yeah.
And like
okay.
get in screaming matches.
Yeah. Because that's where I'm like, I don't know if I want to do a where they just follow me around 24/7 and edit my life to suit whatever narrative they want. That seems like it sucks. But like a game show type of reality show, yeah, I could be washed up podcaster Big Brother, washed up podcaster Amazing Race, washed up podcaster Survivor.
Okay, so of all of those choices, reality show is your number one over
Final
Hollywood
answer.
Squares.
Final answer.
Okay.
Circle gets the square.
Jim,
Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Squares?
100%. Yeah.
Or the block.
I'd go children's parties if you want my vote,
Okay.
because I am an expert face painter.
Yep.
And I was just bragging to Aaron the other night about my ability to make balloon animals, which is
Might have to put that to the test on one of these lunches.
it's a super simple skill that you wouldn't think that is easy to have, but is useless.
You pick up
Outside of
you pick
children.
up juggling and a little bit of sleight of hand, and you actually well, let's bill you out like $200 a party. Let's come on.
Yeah, you're either the best magician or uncle or both ever. A Wookiee says, going off of your UFC talk from last week, have you seen Fighting for a Generation documentary? It's basically a 20-year history of the UFC and how it started, and how the very beginning it was basically no rules fighting and got a ton of backlash politically as human cockfighting. What I found the most interesting from the show documentary is that the show, The Ultimate Fighter, was basically the saving grace of the UFC that was about to go bankrupt before the series brought it back. Also, I'm pretty sure the guy you were thinking of was Tank Abbott, dude.
Yep.
He was a monster back in the early days of the UFC.
Yep, he was. I looked up and he actually shared. I guess he had a liver transplant. And he looked pretty rough.
Yeah, that's what
I
I
actually
heard.
read up about it because I cruised a thread like 2 days ago and it was one of them. So
Cheater.
huh?
Spoiler alert.
Tank Abbott. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about a lot of these fighters is they don't have a lot of longevity because, like, if you're the type of person that's willing to strip down to your waist and get into a cage fight with no, like, especially in the early days of UFC where it's like, yeah, there wasn't weight classes, there wasn't particular requirements for gear. I don't even think did they have to wear gloves, or did they could just tape up their hands, or could
Have
they even
you-
go bare fist knuckled? Maybe they even bare knuckled. I don't know.
Have either of you seen this documentary?
No, I have not, but I kind of want
Seems
to.
interesting, yeah.
Well, yeah.
The show The Ultimate Fighter, have you seen that?
Yes. 'Cause
yeah,
me
that's the contender. That's basically the contender, except it's been rebranded.
Okay, so this was the pre-contender.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
That's what I was
though.
talking about last
it's
week.
like the NFL. Imagine if every game of the NFL was pay-per-view. It would not be nearly as possible because the barrier, like if you're getting a person new into the sport and be like, hey, you want, or it's like if the club was all Bald Move was. You would never grow because how the hell do you get? It's like, oh well, this is the oh yeah, I'm totally into it. How do I? Well, on Sunday you buy a $50 ticket and you watch the games. Like the Ultimate Fighter was a way to like get, because that was on basic cable. It's a way like, okay, look at these people, get involved with them. The winners of these are going to then go on to it was like this pipeline, and UFC's really does that brilliantly because even their pay-per-view, you're only paying for like the top 5 fights of the night and then like the bottom 5 fights of the night, but the mid cards are all on ESPN. So like you can get invested into the fighters and the sport without laying out a dime, and then when you get invested enough to be like, oh, this guy's making the jump and I want to see him fight for a contender, you're ready to plop down your $29.95 and watch it. So it's that was brilliant, and I don't know.
All right. Texas Sandman. A couple of cues and thoughts. Have y'all ever been to a secular, non-religious funeral? Living my life in a smallish town, Texas has not afforded me the opportunity to see anything but the standard American Christian service with the "they're with Jesus now" vibe. I was at my great aunt's service last week and started thinking about what I want to happen when I die. I'm an atheist, but still not open about it with anyone other than my wife. I would prefer to not have a preacher use my death as an altar call or lie about the state of my eternal soul, but I guess I'll be dead, so I won't care. Have you any thoughts on what you would like for a service, if any, once you kick the bucket, or how would your body be preserved or destroyed? I think being donated to a body farm where they study decomposition would be cool.
That's cool. Organ donation, cremation, body farm. Those are all pretty cool ways
The first
to go.
question here,
Shot
have
in
you been
space.
to a non
Yes.
funeral?
One of my buddies, Kent, died of cancer about 10 years ago. He was like in his late 30s and just came down with like a terrible case of pancreatic cancer that he went from 0 to dead in 6 months. And a mutual friend of ours was a preacher, but he led and Kent was an atheist, and he had this guy. What it was is this preacher would essentially said some things that him and Kent had talked about before he died, some things about Kent's life that he wanted to celebrate, and then he kind of moderated some of Kent's friends coming forward to tell stories, and his wife and his kids, and then concluded the service after about 40 minutes. I thought it was really beautiful. I need to start thinking about this, because I haven't updated my
Especially with
will
how
in-
much bleach I've been putting in your food.
I know, right? You need to back, because I'm starting to taste it. Okay?
I gotta mark that.
Plus,
I'm
I'm
gonna take that.
eating a lot less now. You need to think about the long game here, Cecily. But I don't know, because the other thing is I was just I guess my first thought is Cecily I think would do a pretty good job of planning a funeral, but that's kind of shitty to put all that on you.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's shitty to do to anyone, I guess. But I think the common courtesy thing is to have prepared for your death. If you're assuming that you're going to die naturally of old age, then you should have been putting money away to deal with all that stuff when you die if you have special requests. Like if you want this huge Catholic Evita style proceedings, then you need to have given the money to someone else.
Wanna be
Otherwise,
laid in state.
Right.
yeah, otherwise, and I hate to quote Louis C.K. right now, but you're dead. I'm not doing your chores.
Yeah. I'm not doing your busy work.
I love the idea of my body going to like a body farm or a medical school or something like that. Like, I'm not going to be any use to anyone once I'm dead. I'm barely any use to anyone now. Jim, have you thought about this?
Is it weird to have the dead person's input on their funeral? Because funerals are not for the dead person. Funerals are for everyone else who has outlived them. So I feel like it's strange to put a lot of sort of restrictions and your own feelings on how people should grieve over you onto them. I almost think having some money put away to say, okay, here's a bunch of money to pay for this thing, because that shouldn't be on you. But at the same time, shouldn't the people grieving for you decide how they want to grieve? Is it just a weird custom that we have that
No, well, I mean, it's like I was telling Cecily. It's I think the problem with that approach is it's a lot of stress to put on grieving people to plan out a funeral. So maybe
fair.
you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's if you've got a fucking set list of music and do this at this particular time and all that, maybe that's a little much, but have
a couple modest requests maybe?
Yeah, here's the building I've looked at and it's cost this much, and here's the money for it, and I don't want it to be religious. Here's a couple people that could I don't know, but because I think if I had a friend that died and there was a checklist of these are the things I would like you to do in memory of me, it'd be a lot easier just to follow that checklist and grieve than it would be Jesus Christ, what is the way to sum up this person's life as I'm in the middle of the depths of the grief process.
That's fair.
So
Okay.
I get it. Yeah, it's more for the person, but that's part of thinking of the grievers is don't give them a shit ton of work, and also there's a oh, am I doing enough? Because like maybe your friends in the depths of their grief want to try to overcompensate by spending it. So whereas if you're like, no, these are the modest, these are the things that I kind of want to happen to my body, and it's like then there's no guilt involved,
Right, because the truth of the matter is once you're dead, you don't really get a say.
Yeah.
Whether or
And
not
you don't give a
it's
shit. Like,
a lawyer signed a paper or not about what happened, what you said needs to happen to your body, doesn't matter once you're dead.
There's legal requirements, but yeah.
Yeah.
if you can get to me fast enough to my dead body, I want it frozen. I want
Just
it
the
frozen.
head or the entire body?
No, I want the whole thing because you never know what you'll need to roboticize.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
freezing your head's a sucker's bet?
Are you gonna keep all of your organs too? You're not gonna donate any of those in the
He
meantime?
needs them.
I feel like we got eyes pretty well figured out, right?
I think
Yeah.
So
I think you could have my eyes. They're not worth much. They're not worth much anymore. I've had these things for a while, but you can have my eyes.
What about skin grafts?
Nobody wants my skin.
No,
No.
like
No.
even a third degree. I think a third-degree burn victim would trade.
No, if I were 70 years old, I think I'd
70?
I'd like to see what your skin looked like on my forehead.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good. Not like 45, not like...
No, I
Oh.
mean, when I'm 70, I might want your very young
That's what
skin.
I mean. So I got the
Yeah.
skin of like a 68-year-old. Great.
Yeah, I only want 10 years. I don't want any more than that. It would look unnatural.
Yeah, people will know. Yeah.
How
It turns out, and if you Jim Jones skin will be highly sought after because it's the perfect blending skin. If you're
could
like
use
65,
some-
Oh yeah, it's like a base skin,
Jim
like a primer
Jones
that you can
and
use to
my
put better
Crozet.
skin.
exactly, exactly. It's a nice scaffolding.
Yeah.
It fills in the gaps.
There's enough fat to like suck out and like inject though. Yeah, we'll use your body.
None of
Don't
this
worry.
is helping. None of this is making me feel good.
Well, you better
I
get
am
your goddamn
so-
will because you're just
You
getting
got the
a preview
skin of a
what's gonna happen
70-year-old and a
after
lot
being
of extra
Cecily.
fat. Get out of
Yeah.
here.
My sincere condolences for your lost Texas.
His will will
Sandman.
just be like lunch number 209. Nothing that happened here should happen in my funeral. That's the only request.
Please.
I don't want to be stalked and then eaten.
Aiden. Okay. Just let's chug right along to some more complicated topics. Diecast says, really curious as to your thoughts, especially Cecily's viewpoint. In 2019, why do we continue to have nudity and graphic sex in TV and movies? I think we can agree that the same story can be told with camera angles that obscure the nudity but get the message across. It seems hypocritical to me that we agree as a society that the casting couch is forbidden, but feels it's okay to pressure an actress to show her boobs even if we pay her extra. I think back to the pressure Amelia Clark felt to do that nude scene as Khaleesi and Vias Dothrak. Curious as to your thoughts if this is any different than the socially pressured prostitution. And if you're looking for porn, there's better stuff out there for free on the internet than 10 seconds of a Game of Thrones episode.
I mean, I don't think anybody should be pressured to do things that they don't want to do. But I don't think everyone has to be pressured into doing a nude scene either. Like Michael Fassbender, I think, shows up naked, and then they're like, "Oh, you just want me to put on clothes? Okay, good."
Yeah, a lot of assumptions built into this. I don't see nudity as a negative thing, and it seems like maybe you do. Like the idea that we could say the same thing while obscuring the parts of the human body that society has deemed unviewable by the public. That there's a lot of assumption. There's a lot of baggage in there, and I don't carry the same baggage on that.
Well, I was thinking because like a lot of times people only think in terms of like sexualized nudity, and I think of like the end of the Leftovers and how there was like a perfect example of non-sexual nudity. And to be honest, if there was like some kind of weird railing obstruction over nipples and mounds and stuff, it would be distracting. It's the same way, like, because here's my response. The reason there's sex and nudity in entertainment is because there's sex and nudity in real life. And what my retort is, I think it's very distracting in the other way when I see like a PG-13 sex scene and like everyone's like gets up and they take their sheet to their breasts, or the guy gets up in such a way that you almost see his ass but you can't quite see his crack,
Or like a couple just slept together and they get out of bed with their underwear on.
or as I've said, the fact that like you never see a non-sexualized male penis, like hardly ever. It's starting to get better, but like that was always like, why do we only see like nudity is women's breasts, but it's the same thing. If a guy gets up to go to his bathroom the morning after, I should see his ass. I should see his, like, whatever, you know. And it's distracting, and it reminds me that this is artificial when it doesn't seem natural that way. Now, there
right,
are
that we had to fight for an R rating just to get this shot of an ass.
right.
Yeah.
And there is, like, other things. Like, I think that you could maybe, like, some of the sex position stuff that went on in Game of Thrones, where it does seem like this is softcore porn. That I can kind of understand, but I don't know.
But not the Emilia Clarke parts. I think maybe some of like the sex position of like I'm just thinking of like Roz or any of the scenes in the whorehouse
the
and the
Littlefinger
early
monologuing over two girls fake fucking each other, you know.
But like her coming nude out of a Khal Drogo's pyre, or her coming out of the, what do you call that? That Great Hall that she burned down. Spoilers. That was a powerful bit of nudity that wasn't sexualized, and I think was.
And even consider the like, and I thought that turned out to be not true, that they like had to pressure her, because there was all this joke about, because she was like naked a lot in the first season. She wasn't very naked, but there wasn't a good story reason for her to be naked because she was a Khaleesi.
Well, I think that was about the bath scene. I think the first time you see her, she gets out of a bath and she's naked. That's the first time you ever meet her, and I think that was an argument. Or maybe like her meeting Dario Nyquilis.
Oh.
She got naked in that scene just to meet him, and it felt like more of a
no, that
power.
was Eurotrash Dario.
Okay. That felt like a power move.
Yeah, no, like I said, that I was about to say that, like, I don't know. I thought that it turned out that wasn't true, that she fought or was even pressured to do those nude scenes, because those all seem story driven. Like, even consider the angle she shot at when she comes out of that burning Khalasar thing. It's like she's shot low and heroic and powerful. So I like I said, I don't know, because like to me the language of cinema there was not like, oh, look at Emilia Clarke's naked body. It's like, look at this magnificent supernatural being that's coming out, and like all the Dothraki are that see women as nothing, as chattel to be traded as. We go on in depth in the book about like even the language of the Dothraki, how like. Rigidly the sexual dynamics are codified, and then she's coming out there and these guys are just dropping to their knees. That's not like it's only because the other thing is like you can't separate Americans' own fucking inappropriate sexualization of human bodies, because like there's a lot of dudes and probably some women that watch that and like, holy fuck, that's so hot. But then, like, me as a 40-year-old watched it, and, like, that's a powerful woman. And that's probably changed, because if I was 18 and I saw that, I would feel differently about it than I was after I've seen my share of naked women. And it's not that, the fact that you see a naked body is no longer, like, a woohoo kind of thing anymore. So, I don't know. That's... Any other ideas on the table?
I mean, yeah.
As a woman, do we ever get your take on it?
No, yeah, exactly. I think... I echo that sentiment exactly. There's a lot of, like I talked about this in Bald Move TV a little bit last week. Miley Cyrus was one of those people who's a big proponent of hashtag free the nipple. And that is, why can a man post a picture of himself without a shirt on and not get an image removed because it shows his nipples, but a woman does, and it's posted as, and it's flagged as inappropriate or pornography or something like that? Why can't women breastfeed in public? Because the assumption is that men are too turned on by the vision of this nipple that they're just gonna rape her or just come instantly. It's just it's an insane thought. So I think it can be appropriate to be used as a powerful non-sexual thing, and the more we expose people to it, the less it's going to be such a divisive issue, I think.
It is weird because this came up in the forums like a year or two ago, and I remember seeing some people argue like, well, the difference between male and female breast is the female breasts are secondary sexual characteristics, like Why? And I'm like, yeah, but so is this flowing beard, and so is my chest hair, and so are my broad shoulders. Like,
we're gonna take that out in post.
I'm just like, it's like it doesn't. Yeah, the more I've thought about it, because I've come a long way in a lot of this stuff. Like you've asked me 24, I'm like, the fucking women running around topless. This is some liberal crazy shit. Like,
women burning bras in their 60s. Yeah,
this is people just wanting to sexualize women and take advantage of them. But like, no, I realized that like that's a completely social construct. There's plenty of places currently now and historically where women are able to run around bare-chested and it's not a big deal. Now, it does seem like across all civilizations that primary sexual characteristics like covering your privates, your dick, your balls, your clit, those do seem to be like that's a common taboo. And I don't know if you want, maybe we can talk about like just going full on naked in the far flung Star Trek future. But like, yeah, this whole making women cover their chest thing does seem like I don't think it'll survive our lifetime. Mm-hmm. It already feels like it's breaking down in a lot of places, and because there's really not a great reason for it.
Yeah. If we weren't skipping lunch next week, I'd be topless for it. Anyway, RH Coop says, I just saw an article where Marvel has been chasing after Keanu Reeves to play a role in the MCU. If you could pick him to play any superhero, who would you pick?
Someone did. There's a thread ender. I think it was Murder Bear said Gambit.
Oh, okay. Thanks for skipping ahead. RH Coop says, I'd say Wolverine for the MCU.
I can't imagine it's good.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, just don't make him. You know, Hugh Jackman didn't have a recognizable Canadian accent, right? So
I thought it. No.
Did he do? Was he doing it? Was he doing A?
Maybe just when he was.
Fuck off, hoser, A. Snick.
No, I don't think he was. I don't remember that anyway.
Yeah, but you're right. Like that would be. I'd rather him just do Keanu Reeves as a cool looking bandit than try to butcher a Creole language.
Yeah.
I think I can't think of.
I like Gambit. Gambit is such a great idea.
It's like you put that man in a trench coat, you hang a cigarette off his lip, you give him a charged up playing card to throw.
I mean, he'd just be John Wick with magic cards. Like that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah,
well,
he'd also
Gambit's a lot more playful.
I know he's got the staff and
Plus, he's just like it's a different type of charisma. So, but I was actually beating my head because he doesn't have a conventional Marvel kind of frame. He's like too lanky and tall to be Spider-Man, but he's too kind of lanky and tall to be your typical, broad-shouldered, roided out superhero.
So, okay, it's got to be a superhero who does not have a lot of emotional heavy lifting to do, right? Because I don't think, look, I love Keanu Reeves. I think he's amazing. I don't think he has a huge range when it comes to acting. I think he can be cool, stoic guy. I think he can play stoner very well. He might have one or two more gears, but I don't think you can wring a lot of emotion out of that voice and face. I was trying to picture him as Loki because, his frame is kind of lanky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think he could pull off the emotion that Loki had to bring to that first Thor role.
I kind of agreed, but I was listening to Keep It, which is a kind of a pop culture show on the Crooked Media Network that I listen to. And Lewis, who is a guy who knows a lot about movies, and Kara too, said that like challenged, I think, because I think Ira had that kind of take too. And they challenged him like, have you seen this movie, which I haven't seen? And they're like, a lot of what Keanu does is either deliberate choices or is like absent direction. Like he's kind of one of those like the guys that shows up and do the work.
So it's like having only seen Con Air and Nick Cage, or Nick Cage and Con Air doesn't give you a good representation.
Like Keanu's done some indies type stuff that has some, but I don't know because I haven't seen it. But like I also don't know why they would just make that shit up because it's not the worst thing in the world to be like, hey, this guy's a fantastic like. No one knocks Harrison Ford for only having the Harrison Ford gear. Like it's pretty goddamn good gear. So, So I don't know. I guess I need to look at some of those movies that he's done that are more highly regarded for acting, other than just kind of like action or being a dreamboat. So or being a funny dude. Because that's already range, right? Like
yeah, it's a bit of range, but it's not like we're talking Daniel Day-Lewis type range,
of course,
right?
Yes,
yeah.
Has Daniel Day-Lewis ever been funny?
Yes.
That's a damn fine question. I can't recall.
Because he's a definitely chameleon, but he does have kind of a lane that he stays in. Anyway, I'm sure Daniel Day-Lewis is perfectly funny as a human being. I just haven't seen him funny on film.
I don't think he is.
No?
He doesn't seem like the kind of person who's got a great sense of humor.
He might seem like he's...
We should change this the name of this podcast to broad generalizations about very specific people.
What's like Peter O'Toole?
With Jim and Aaron.
Peter O'Toole always said, because he was talking, I think it was, probably butchering his quote, but like
Here
one of
comes
the
another
method
broad
actors.
generalization from Aaron.
He said to one of the method
About a very
actors about
specific
like
person.
how he tortured himself to get in a rule, and like he's like smoking a cigar and swirling his brandy. It's like you should try acting sometime, my boy. It's much easier.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's a little bit of argument for both.
Was that not attributed to Poitier? Sidney Poitier?
Was it that? I knew.
I think it was,
I
yeah.
thought it was O'Toole, but I could be wrong.
I'm not sure.
Oof, this IMDb page does not have any humor to it at all. All right, crunch time, guys. We got 15 minutes left. Noel wants to know, have you ever gotten into an altercation at a bar?
I don't think I've ever gotten beyond like a shove and like what the fuck, bro, or like
Yeah,
at a
that
bar.
beard and those broad shoulders. So sexualized in an open space.
But the thing is like, as I don't go to a lot of bars, but I do feel like there's been 4 or
when I
5
do.
times in my life where I feel like an angry dude in the room stood up, found the biggest, dumbest motherfucker, and started shit with him, and I don't know why.
There was a time recently in Florida where some guy tried to challenge me for bar space. Like Aaron and I were standing there and drinking, and this guy kept bumping into me like he was trying to invade my space.
Was that St. Patrick's Day? Yeah. So there's a lot.
So you and I switched spaces, and suddenly he found a brick wall where
I
before
just
he
boxed
found
him
like
the
a
fuck out.
aluminum one.
Yeah. It wasn't aggressive. It just like I switched Cecily and I put my back to him and I just planted myself at the bar and like I kept feeling the waves crash against that seawall, but like fuck it. I don't know.
Jim Jones, tell us about your most bloody bar fight.
I stabbed a guy in Reno. No.
Yeah, you ever take Jim's
Just to
shirt
watch him
off?
die?
He's like Pam from
Take your shit off.
Archer. He's
Shirt
got
off.
like
Free the
hash
nipple.
marks tattooed on his chest and the angel of death spreads its wings. Like he's got
Only
this
God will
elaborate
judge me
tattoo.
across the chest.
It's fucked up, man.
I take an ear every time. No, I don't. I haven't been to many bars lately, and in the types of bars where I think you would get challenged much. And plus, I'm a pretty laid back, happy drunk. Like I don't go off to pick fights when I'm drunk, and I mostly try and avoid them. Period in my
Has
life.
anyone ever
So,
just like out of the blue started shit with you? Because like I said, this has happened where I was involved in conversation with my friends and some dude from out like started shit with me, and I don't know, it gave me a little bit of a complex through my
Your
my
friends?
20s.
Can't remember.
No,
if it
some dude
has.
from outside the circle. Like I don't know whether I was just casting my glance about and he didn't like it, or
Yeah,
or whether
there's
it's just sometimes like I think it is kind of like let's just pick the biggest guy in the room to start because like he probably won't. I don't know what the impulse is there, but it's happened. It's a thing, and I don't get it.
It's toxic masculinity in your drinks is what it is.
Yeah.
XE Eliminator says, don't know if you like nature cams or not, but there's a good one just a bit up the road from me in Boulder County, Colorado. It has an osprey family that has a nature cam going all the time.
Can we photobomb it next week?
I'm hoping. Usually dad fishes in the lake behind the nest, brings the fish back to the nest, sometimes still alive if he hasn't eaten part of it first, and then mom, who doesn't leave the nest much, tears the fish apart to feed the young. I don't think you should really be getting that involved in the live cam. Maybe just leave it to the birds and not your mom and dad. There's a real dedicated community that does a good job capturing video and pictures of interesting things that happened and posting them in the comment section. Do you guys have any other nature or live cam recommendations? Watch anything like that?
I know you do.
You're talking about, what are you thinking of?
Isn't there like a raccoon guy?
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
I'm still subscribed to him, but and he's gotten, man, we just actually tuned into him like 3 weeks ago, and he keeps on pumping money. He's got like
He's a
9
guy-
different cameras, 3 of them now tilt and
He
zoom.
lives in Minnesota, so there's some heavy winters, and you
Oh,
can tell
yeah.
that he has got a lot going on inside of his house, but not outside of his house.
we
He's-
got 3 coonies coming up who are it's
He's got the fattest raccoons in the world that visit him because I think he has 2 dogs, but he's got a shit ton of dog food bowls outside that he feeds these raccoons by.
and he feeds them certain cookies and biscuits.
So
and-
it's just guaranteed viewership, which is, I don't know, it's kind of raccoon slavery, I think. I used to when I was a few
Those
years
are
ago.
free-range raccoons.
A few years ago, as a form of like meditation, I used to watch this live stream of just cats running around in a rescue house type of thing, just as an effort to get them all adopted. That was cute.
Oh, that's cool. The one kind of live nature cam that I do tune in fairly frequently is the Beaver Island Harbor Cam. Because anytime I'm like feeling like like a lot of times it's cool to do it in wintertime when it's like all frozen over, because I've never seen that side of Beaver Island, but also it's just kind of fun to like see what the weather is. I do that like probably once a month or so whenever I'm visiting the forums. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go and I think it's on top of the Beaver Island visitor center. There's like a camera on there and it's like on 24/7. I think they now have one on Donegal Bay too, so you can see both sides of the island. So and that's easy to find. I'll actually, once Cecily's reading the next one, I'm going to look up this raccoon thing, because you can't give a Twitch recommendation and not be able to back it up.
I think it's Todd the raccoon guy. I think.
Well, I just know his wife's name's Barb.
Next
Barb's working
question.
real hard down at the hospital, and I got these long, lonely night shifts that I fill with strangers on the internet and watching raccoons. Yeah.
Are you supposed to be filling time yourself or buying it for us? All right, Michael says, this is a quick fire round. Question. Pick your retirement location. Beach house, cabin in the woods, or lake house.
Wait,
Beach house.
are
cabin in the
beach
woods, or
house and lake house substantially different?
And the cabin in the woods could also be a lake house, so just pick your retirement location. Where would you go?
Just shut the fuck up and pick your retirement location. Cabin in the woods.
Out of all of those?
Yeah.
But that one's like 100% guaranteed to be inhabited by Hemsworths.
Hemsworths?
What? Okay.
Are you not familiar with the horror movie Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah.
Okay.
What? I'm just trying to see the downside.
I just didn't see you being a Cabin in the Woods kind of guy.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
I would see you as like a beachside.
No.
Not going outside on the beach, just seeing it close.
I would have the cabin in the woods, and it would be a shitty cabin, and I would hopefully not be home very much because I would be out traveling.
Hunting humans.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. What would you be doing? Would you be doing a lot of reading?
Oh yeah, I'd read books constantly.
Really?
That's all I would do.
Would you be completely off the grid?
I would. Let's see. I'd be watching Harry Potter. I'd be reading books, physical books.
See, this is why we have to kill him before he can die naturally.
Plus, you
he's just
get
still
my
alive.
70-year-old skin. So.
Yeah, that too.
It's raccoon_Todd if you want to check him out on Twitch.
Okay. AJ wants to know, just read about Marvel re-releasing Endgame with additional deleted scenes. What do you guys think of this?
We talked about this last night in the
did you?
spoiler section of the Toy Story 4 podcast.
Re-releasing it just to beat Avatar?
Just to beat Avatar. I mean, gotta cheat to win. You gotta cheat to win. And like as we discussed, like if that's a thing. Like if you want to really be apples to apples, you got to count tickets, and if you do that, I think it's like almost a mathematical certainty that no one will ever beat Gone with the Wind, because it played for years. There was no competition. Like I mean, it's just so like anything else is just you're trying to go for different weight classes and categories. So I don't know, but then again, in my 20s, I watched the Phantom Menace 7 times in an attempt to get it to beat the Titanic. And it's so funny is like even if I had done it like literally like 4 years later, James Cameron would have taken the title back with Avatar. So like who gives like that's the thing. What has more cultural clout? Marvel's 22 movies that have made like $79 billion, or James Cameron's Blue Alien thing that made $2.9 billion and no one can like gun to their head recall the names of the characters or the plot or anything. So it's like it's kind of dumb, but I'm also not judging the dumbness because I too have been that goofy about cinematic tribalism.
What access do we have to these deleted scenes
And
after
that's
it's
the thing is
released?
they're not. I've heard that it's just literally an extra credits, like a couple of outtakes and an after credit scene. There are actually no new scenes in the runtime of the movie.
Okay. Yeah, if it didn't significantly change the whole trajectory of the story, then it's like, why go back for in theaters?
Because they want. I mean, it's a
people-
naked attempt by the mouse to beat Avatar.
The mouse. Okay. Final question. D. Yesterday, I saw a video on Reddit of a homeless man being given a new jacket and his reaction to it. He appeared oblivious to the fact that he was being filmed. It could have been staged, of course, but assuming it wasn't, then okay, it's nice to give a homeless person a jacket, but I'm really turned off by this trend of people filming nice things to do and putting it online. I feel it's not their right to just present this man to the world for their own validation, and the good deed becomes not so good once you feel the need to announce it to the world. It made me think of when my daughter worked in a coffee shop and people would come in all the time and announce that they were buying a cup of coffee or sandwich or whatever for a homeless person. So they weren't doing it to be kind, they were doing it because they wanted someone to pat them on the back. Am I so out of touch, or is it the children who are wrong? What is your opinion of these nice deeds videos?
I mean, you have to get pretty far down in philosophy to try to decide, like, you know, what is really altruism. Because you could say that the inner satisfaction you get by doing good and no one knows about it is, you know, you're not actually doing good. You're chasing the dopamine that you're feeling, right? So I don't know. Like, that's when you're... I tell you what I am... What I definitely don't like is this trend of, like, this 6-year-old boy sold his Xbox and collected cans for 6 months so his brother can get a liver transplant. And it's shared as a heartwarming story.
Right.
Or like this dad.
This GoFundMe got 75% of the way there.
Yeah. I mean, I like, damn, what, how far have we fallen in a society where this is like celebrated? I mean, yeah, like that's an exceptional kid, but Jesus, should he have to be doing all that? And I do feel like it's kind of gross and cringy when you're like involving another human being without their consent and you're kind of self-aggrandizement. But like I did like the was the hashtag cleanup or something where people would take a picture of like this fucked up vacant lot that's covered in trash, and then they take a picture of all the trash bags that they collected in the pristine thing and like a selfie of them. Like, that seems harmless. If it gets a city block cleaned up or a river cleaned up or a beach, like that seemed like it did real good.
Yeah, that makes an actual difference. That one sandwich in that homeless person's life isn't going to make a difference on the rest of their life. The amount of trash in a land is a difference. Yeah. I guess I kind of felt the same way when they did the ALS ice bucket challenge. I felt it was, I thought it was silly at first because most people just wanted their video shared of them being dunked in ice water, but it turns out that they raised an enormous amount of money in the process. So there's that good there. If you want to share a picture of yourself giving something like a jacket to a homeless person who needs it, then maybe also share ways to improve that homeless person's life in your city or, at large. And that's just one example of a homeless person. You could do that for any kind of cause that you feel passionate about. Both objectives can be accomplished.
Yeah, it's kind of like I've been thinking about this concept of social technology I've been noodling on for a while about like to solve the 21st century problems. I do feel like the answer lies inward. Like we have natural impulses as animals. But if you look around the world, it's all about us overcoming those. Like the fact that a highway as a concept works shows that we don't have to give in to our base impulses. The fact that there's hospitals where people can go and get their sickness taken care of. There's like those fundamentally are inhuman, right? Like or in Homo sapien. So, like, is there a way that you can harness people's ego to do good? You know, like, would the world be a better place if the thing that people chased was some kind of betterment for humanity rather than like money? You know, like if the zeros in your bank account weren't what matters, it's like how many homeless people you fed or how many coats you handed out or stuff like that. Like if people were like, you know, bragging or like in a rush to like brag about that, like I guess it feels like the world would be a better place. And then if the homeless people are getting coats, or better yet, the homeless people get taken off the streets and housed, who cares what impulse drove it. You know, I don't know, but I do agree that it does feel gross now because what's really getting your goat, D, if I can be so bold.
She's in Australia, so it's
Yes.
just getting her kangaroo.
What's really getting your drop bear is that your blue ringed octopus is that people see this that are not homeless and they're like, see, things are getting taken care of. When in reality, this is not even a shitty Band-Aid slapped over a problem. Like there's one person that has a coat. There is 80,000 homeless people camping in LA right now. Mm-hmm. That's the other problem is like when people see, see people without insurance or the ones that are really they're getting it done. Look at this 7-year-old kid. If a 7-year-old kid can sell his Xbox and sell his kidney to get his dad a new liver, then like everybody else can too. Like it's a way to like retard our focus on the actual solving the real problems. And that I totally agree with because like a person getting a coat on camera is not fixing the homelessness problem.
Right. You should be posting more status updates during your lunch break.
I know you said that was the last question, but there's actually one that got posted today that I wanted to deal with, which is Hitmize talking about the auto-injected ads.
Yes.
I'm not gonna have the exact wording. Do you want to read do you have the exact wording?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, let's do that real quick.
Last one, I've been in the club since very early on, was at the Burrito Mito, and have been a Bald Move fan from the early Breaking Bad days. Feeling butthurt by these pre-roll ads. I'm certainly being dramatic, but can you explain any of the context around making the decision to put commercials at the top of the cast and what the feedback has been like from the general audience?
Jim?
Whoa. You can't say, hey, there's one question I definitely want to get to here, and I've thought
about. You're the one that hates the ads the most, I thought, maybe.
Okay,
so I'll come in with mine.
Let me start. Okay. I read this thread. There was a separate thread that hit my started. I'm going to sum it up in case anyone who's listening hasn't heard it, or maybe if Jim hasn't read it, whatever. Hitmy has an issue with pre-inserted ads being added in the beginning and the end. They're not ads that have been read by us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not something that we've done our own copy on, anything like that. They're inserted and then boom, ad, and then you start the show. Mm-hmm. And there's no acknowledgement from the host immediately that the ad has even been read or the product or anything like that. So that's the issue here.
So we were going to, one of the things I'm going to address this very briefly because we actually have an Empire business that we're working on, and we kind of delayed it a week because we got excited about a Stranger Things idea that we're pursuing that you guys will be finding out about probably next week. So we kind of delayed our Empire businesses a bit, but the last 3 years, anytime we do an Empire business and we talk about money, we always get a lot of people saying, like, you're really missing the boat on ads. You should do more ads. The rate at which Bald Move is adified is pretty low by other podcast standards. And honestly, the vast majority of podcasts I listen to, the Harmontowns, the 538s, the Crooked Media, the Ringers, they all have 3 to 6 ads per hour show, right? So we had made moves earlier this year to sign up with a new agency that was going to put an emphasis on trying to get ads because the vast majority of our inventory was unsold, right? And we don't feel too bad about that because there's 2 ways to support Bald Move. You can join the club, in which case you don't have to listen to ads ever. Or if you don't want to join the club because podcasts are free, then, you can listen to the ads or skip the ads or do whatever. Like, the vast majority of otherwise free content and the entire world is paid through these commercial advertisings. Now, there's 3 different ways you can do it. There's the host read, which is when Jim and I we like Away Luggage, and we got Away Luggage, and it's really cool, and you can use this product code, and we get paid for that. And then there's what they call, I forget what the other thing is, but there's another one that they are they're ads that sound like they're host reads, but they're not the host. Like they're designed to sound like a kind of a conversational podcast ad, but it won't be Jim and I recording them. And then there's the other ones I think you're talking about that are dynamically inserted, which are just like corporate produced. It tends to be shorter, like 15 to 20 seconds, and they just get inserted. And what we do when we upload our podcast now is we pick these points to insert the ads. We no longer record them into it. We actually upload the ads, and then they're inserted in these points that we tell them to. And every podcast we create has automatically 2 insertion points at the start and 2 insertion points at the end. And these, not everyone gets the same ads. That's another kind of misconception. Like, these things are tied like geographically. There's all kinds of different things that they do, and the thing about that is, yeah, they do seem to be a little bit abrupt, especially on podcasts where we don't have any music or something, because it's just like ad and boom, we go right into the show. And maybe we can do a little bit better job on that. But it's just a way to make more money, and we've realized that like we're probably not going to make a lot of traction on things, as I know Hitmy said, like, well, can you stop these things until you get like a Bald Move app that allows like ad-free feeds to be an easier thing to do? Because I understand that like the ad-free feeds to get subscribed are not maybe as easy. It's certainly not like just push a single button and it's done kind of thing. But the reality is it's unlikely we're going to get to those milestones, or at least anytime soon, unless we figure out a way to increase revenues, right? And more ads are a way to increase ad revenue. So I know I saw you use Pocket Cast. I use Pocket Cast too, and I've subscribed to the ad-free feeds. I've since moved on to Podcast Addict that also supports the authenticated feeds. You can use the podcast subscription tool. We can help you with that.
I still use Pocket Cast, and when I had an issue, I just had to resubscribe or unsubscribe and resubscribe, which is a pain in the ass, but it works
just
again.
So you go, is like if you go to Bald Move's website and you make sure you're logged in, at the top of the page, there's like a club features thing that you click on, and one of the things is the podcast subscription tool, and it'll you tell it what podcast app you've got, and it'll automatically build you the thing that you need to put into your podcast app to make that work. So I guess I encourage everybody. I mean, that's the other thing, is like, this is like ad-free feeds is not a huge benefit to club members, because historically 99% of our ads or pods have been ad-free, except for like the club ad. And it's also another kind of encouragement to join the club, that you can get away from these ads. But I'm sorry that you're annoyed by them. I think we can maybe integrate them a little bit better, but like, I don't think they're going to go away, because they make money, So we're all listening to Lunch right now. Anyone listening to Lunch, there's no reason for you guys to get ads. You're already paying for the service, so get on the forums. We can help you. Check out the podcast subscription tool. That can help, and we'll have more of this in a. We'll talk more about this, as we always do, about the deal we signed and like the different ways that these monetize. We'll even show you the tools we use to do the dynamic insertions and stuff in an upcoming Empire Business podcast. So I know everybody hates ads. Like a lot of podcasts when I listen to a lot of podcasts with ads. I skip a lot of them. And that's the other thing. Is like, I subscribe to Harmontown. There's no ad-free feed on Harmontown. I pay $5 a month, and unless I watch the video feed live, I'm going to get ads, even though I'm paying. So like, I think that maybe we're not the very best at doing it, but I don't think we're the worst at doing it, because there is a way to get out of it, by being a supporter. So I don't know. I hope that helps, and thanks for supporting us, as always. And that's Lunch.
Yes. Again, you can go to forums.baldmoves.com or #BaldLunch to get involved in not next week, but the week after. We will be back for lunch.
Unless we do a surprise Tuesday or Wednesday nooner.
Unless we get too high and die on top of a mountain in Colorado, then we'll most certainly be back.
Altitude.
Yeah,
yes,
that will be the problem.
Sickness. It's brutal.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
See ya.